Today, we're heading to southwestern Ontario and to Alberta. Jennifer Bieman is a reporter for the London Free Press. Kelly Cryderman is a reporter for the Globe and Mail. She joins us from Calgary. Hi to both of you. It's great to see you. Thanks for interrupting your weekend to do this. Kelly, why don't I start with you, because there has been a lot of conversation about the lack of visits to Alberta from all the various party leaders. We know Justin Trudeau was there in Calgary. I believe he also visited Edmonton. We did see Mr. Scheer visit the province as well. What do you think the perception of this election right now is from Alberta?
Well, the perception is that it's a foregone conclusion. Of course, there are 34 ridings in Alberta, and there's most people believe that most, if not all of those ridings will go Conservative. And I think, there is an understanding that is why the leaders don't show up. And Albertans have this long-standing reputation for voting Conservative. In 2015, it might not have been seen as a breakthrough in the rest of the country, but it was kind of a breakthrough here that the Liberals actually won 4 seats. Now, of course, they're fighting to hold on to 3 seats. There's one independent since then. And, Trudeau's appearance in Calgary last night was really interesting. I didn't expect him to come to Calgary again, but he did. He showed up the same banquet hall that he showed up at in 2015. He got a good response. There was protesters outside, of course, that had been called on to go there by Alberta's governing United Conservative Party. And, Justin Trudeau addressed that in the rally. He said, he made a call for Albertans to vote for this progressive option and made a call out to Jason Kenney. And, you really see the clash between Justin Trudeau and Jason Kenney playing out in this election right now.
Right. Jennifer, let me ask you about London, because it's almost the polar opposite scenario in that leaders have spent a ton of time in southwestern Ontario and there are many competitive races in the region. What's your impression of how the battle will play out in southwestern Ontario?
Well, certainly as of tomorrow, we're guaranteed to come away with 3 new MPs. We've got 3 retiring ones in our sort of 10 riding region around London, Ontario. Windsor West is in play. We've got a cabinet minister there from the former Liberal government in Ontario that's trying to break a 17-year NDP stronghold there. The leaders have come by. London's had a single whistle stop by Scheer, but Trudeau has been by twice to major rallies in the city. London's a funny place because in a region that's been reliably Tory, especially in a lot of the rural areas, Chatham-Kent, Elgin County, Woodstock, London last year in the provincial elections swept all NDP, the 3 core city ridings. So we find that a lot of the leaders have come and had quite a good response there. So it looks like there are at least some ridings that are in play in our area.
Let's dig into some of the issues that matter to people in the various areas that you guys cover. Kelly, let me start with you. I know that obviously there are a lot of people concerned in Alberta about the state of the economy, and particularly a lot of the provinces where oil and gas are concerned. It's not a monolith, though. There are a lot of people in Alberta who care as well about climate change. What kind of issues do you think will resonate for voters there?
And you summed it up pretty well. Alberta is different than the rest of the country in a lot of ways in this election, in that the economy is the major issue, and that's different than in terms of polling than I think any other province. There is going to be little or no growth in the province in terms of the economy this year, and that stands in contrast to the rest of the country that's doing relatively well in terms of economic growth. At the same time, as you point out, Alberta is not homogenous politically. There was 5,000 to 10,000 people that showed up in Edmonton on Friday to rally with Greta Thunberg, the famous Swedish climate activist. And we saw Trudeau kind of come in and try to rally what he called the progressive votes. I think, of course, the economy is huge here. Pipelines are a big concern. You even had former Alberta Premier Rachel Notley say she would endorse the NDP candidate in the riding of Edmonton-Strathcona, which, by the way, is the only riding that has a chance of going to the NDP in Alberta. You heard her endorse the candidate, but say she does not endorse Jagmeet Singh's pipeline policies, and she will challenge him on that, and she will continue to challenge him on that. And I think, there are people who I talk to who are concerned about the conservative policies on things. Still, you see overwhelming concern for the economy and pipelines being built here, and I do think that's what it will boil down to on Election Day.
What do you think it boils down to for voters, Jennifer, in London and area?
So there's a few core issues. One of the big ones is manufacturing. So the economy is very important across Canada. Certainly, auto manufacturing specifically in southwestern Ontario is still very much alive and well. Windsor's got Fiat Chrysler, Woodstock has Toyota, and Ingersoll has Cami, and those jobs have a lot of spin-off, kind of things that come from it. That hasn't really been a discussion as much on this year's campaign trail in a campaign that's being dominated by integrity questions and the blackface scandal and energy policy and that. So that's one of the things that certainly people are looking for, and especially General Dynamics Land Systems and the $15 billion Saudi deal. That's come up a few times, certainly with human rights concerns over Saudi Arabia. That is right in one of our battleground ridings, one of the ridings to watch, London Fanshawe. The retiring NDP MP of 13 years, Irene Matheson, is not running again. Her daughter is trying to seek the seat, but the Liberals are certainly targeting it. Trudeau made a visit there already, but there are a lot of really concerns there. They employ 1,600 people, and then the spin-off jobs and suppliers are in the thousands beyond that. So manufacturing is a huge issue. Also, agriculture issues, not necessarily one of those things that's a stump speech campaign stop for the leaders, but it's certainly a really big concern in our area. The Ontario grain farmers have asked the federal parties to commit to a trade war fund to kind of insulate non-supply managed industries from kind of tensions with places like China. So, certainly the global trade climate is a worry sometimes for agriculture. So I'd say those two, and then also affordable housing, but that's an issue certainly anywhere. And I know definitely yesterday, Jagmeet Singh was really, really on that topic in Vancouver.
Kelly, Jennifer mentioned some ridings to watch in her area. What ridings, and you already talked about Edmonton Strathcona, but particularly talk a bit about some of the ridings you'll be paying close attention to tomorrow.
Yes, Edmonton Strathcona will be really interesting to see if the NDP is able to hang on to that seat after a long time MP Linda Duncan retired. The other two Liberal seats in Edmonton are Edmonton Centre and Edmonton Millwoods. Amarjeet Sohi won Edmonton Millwoods by 92 votes last time. It was really close, and it'll be really interesting if he's able to hang on to it, because he is known as a strong constituency MP, and at the same time, I know he's hearing at the doorsteps a lot of that anger at the Trudeau Liberal government. In Calgary, the two ridings to watch are Calgary Centre, where Kent Hare is trying to hold on to that seat, and Calgary Skyview, where Justin Trudeau appeared last night. I didn't really think that riding was in play, and a lot of people are wondering why the Liberals, why Justin Trudeau decided to make an appearance last night. And you could read into it that he thinks that there's something happening in that Calgary Skyview riding where a well-known TV personality named Narmila Naidu is running for the Liberals against a relatively well-known lawyer named Jag Sahota. You wonder if the Liberals know something about that riding we don't, or whether he's just trying to make sure he made a clear stop in Alberta in the final days of the campaign.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow night. Thank you very much to both of you for your time and your insights this morning. Thanks to Jennifer Bieman of the London Free Press and Kelly Cryderman of the Globe and Mail.